When I first started training in the gym, I had no idea whatsoever about different kinds of diets, supplements, or even something as simple as micronutrients. And it's not necessarily that I didn't know, I just didn't care because I saw so many people online talking about the fact that all calories are the same, or the steroid bros would pack themselves up with donuts every single day for breakfast. And I thought that it was gonna work for me too, and for some time it did. Because for my first year of fitness, I basically lived with that kind of philosophy, even though I intuitively understood that there's something wrong here. But I didn't bother because essentially that was the only thing that I was doing in my life, and the cheap dopamine from all those foods felt too good to give up. But then at the end of winter 2024, I realized that I'm really doing something wrong here because I found myself unable to focus for even 10 minutes reading a book. That was the first thing that hit me. And secondly, I wanted to focus on starting a YouTube channel, but I couldn't even sit down and focus on writing a simple YouTube script for like 30 minutes at a time. Studies suffered too, but being honest, I didn't really pay as much attention as I should have back then to it anyways, so I don't think that really counts. But yeah, the point I'm trying to make is that my attention span and productivity went to shit, and I didn't know why, or pretended I didn't know. And just for the context, around 75% of my diet consisted of pure junk. I basically ate pizzas, ice creams, protein bars, and everything else that had a lot of sugar, carbs, and was cheap, and obviously had a lot of protein as well. The whole situation basically pissed me off, and after a couple of days of binge watching YouTube videos on nutrition, I started doing something that I knew I should have, but just didn't want to admit it. I started cleaning my diet, and long story short, I basically just started to jump between extremes. Carnivore diet, cold showers, meditation, early wake ups, and basically everything else that I could find online that promised to help me get more productive and focused fast. So what do you think happened as a result of that? I started living a new life. Suddenly, I was able to focus for 4 to 6 hours straight. I took cold showers, meditated, fasted, and did all things possible. And as a result of all of that, my productivity skyrocketed and I became so sharp like never before in my entire life. But there was one little problem: fitness. Everything started to feel 5 times heavier, and I didn't have any energy in the gym whatsoever, trying to be as productive as I can, which honestly led me to a shitload of anxiety related to fitness because I was unhappy with the fact that I wasn't making any progress. The very thing over which I was obsessing for like a year and a half straight was basically taken away from me in a way that I simply stopped enjoying it whatsoever. But me being me, I wasn't ready to sacrifice the work capacity either. So guess what I did? I started trying to balance both at the same time. And I'm gonna give you a little spoiler, that was a horrible idea. And all of the jumping back and forth between extremes and trying to balance things basically lasted for like years straight. Fast forward to basically January this year when I decided to finally go on a high carb diet and gaining like 10 kilograms in less than 2 months. In order to avoid a weird balance of things, you basically have 3 options: get juiced, jam productivity tools button, or become smart. And most of us hopefully would choose the option of becoming smart. Now, being smart when it comes to avoiding brain fog means a few things: being conscious of what you eat, knowing exactly how it impacts you, and knowing the right time to eat it. So let's break it down. Being conscious of what you eat means not poisoning yourself. That's it. A rule of thumb that I like to follow is I simply avoid buying anything of which I don't understand the ingredients. Take a look at this picture. Would you buy this? I personally would not, because I have no idea what like the half of those ingredients mean. And don't get me wrong, I'm not telling you to not eat some kind of nice food every now and then, but I'm just trying to install the awareness inside of your mind so that you know exactly what you're consuming, or at least try to put in some effort into researching that. Because most of the people who are trying to gain weight and bulking, and basically 99% of population in general, have no idea what they're putting inside of their body simply because they never took the time to flip the package and read what's inside of it. Once again, most people have no idea that food impacts them at all. Looking after what you're putting inside your body should be your absolute number one priority. I personally started doing this more than a year ago. I skyrocketed my productivity, got rid of my ADHD, improved my attention span, improved my fitness all at the same time. And yeah, with that said, I should mention that there's a link in the description to my products page. There you'll be able to find the performance archive, which I basically created for everyone who wants to achieve somewhat similar results. But if you don't want to get it, that's completely okay. You can also use the 2 free guides, one of which is basically designed for people who are trying to bulk and avoid the downsides at the same time. But with that said, here is the exact routine that I'm following right now. I wake up at around 5 a.m. while everybody else is asleep. I take cold shower, fast for about 2 to 3 hours minimum. Then I have 1000 calorie protein shake. After that, I continue to work or learn with notifications off and headphones with noise cancellation and white noise on. Sometimes, if I'm feeling really off, I might get L-tyrosine and caffeine in 90 minutes after I woke up. But if I had to summarize it into 2 main points that you can follow in order to stay as productive as humanly possible early in the morning starting and get the work in before you eat the meals and go to the gym is first fasting and second eliminating all distractions possible. There are some specific tactics and ways to go around it to enjoy bulking and fitness while still being productive, but in a nutshell, those two basically are the fundamentals. It doesn't sound complicated and it's not complicated as in itself, but the biggest reason why most people won't stick to it is because it requires discipline and it requires to build up a habit. The question is, do you really want it bad enough? Do you actually want to stay productive and gain muscle mass at the same time? So with that said, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for watching this video until the end. If you found it useful, then don't forget to leave a like, subscribe to this channel, and check out my free mail newsletter, which is the first link in the description. Once again, thank you for watching this video until the end. And yeah, there's a sun shining on my face for some reason. But yeah, I wish you an amazing day. Bye.